So today we're gonna do some cross stitching. Yeah. On the agenda is to show you how to backstitch. Let's see if she manages to accomplish that. I have my doubts.
Well, hello everybody. We're gonna do some back stitching. I guess I kind of skipped the cross stitch. Well, I kind of showed you. Okay, we'll do a little cross stitching first and then we'll back stitch. So let me just tweak this just a tiny little bit. All right, we'll work on this little area and then we'll back stitch. So let me grab my little chart. I'm going to fold it up so you can't see the whole thing. I'm going to figure out where I'm at here. Let me see here. I am clustered in here. Let's see. All right, I just need to figure out what color I'm doing. Let me see here. That's that. Like majorly confused here. That's all the way up there. Okay, 7's H. Those are H's. Okay. Got it. Yep, okay. Oh, my sticker fell off. Oops. Oh no, I never started it. Okay. So I had actually threaded this needle and then went to bed without putting my little trying to get it here. Okay, so I just made little labels and I just put my needle through it and I just stick them so I know what's what for parking. So I had threaded this one before going to bed several nights ago and never put my label on it. All right. Now, my threads aren't even at the end here. Get those lined up with each other and straighten it out. Now, one of them is a little longer than the other because this particular cross stitch has cards that threads are on, so they're a little uneven. I'm going to cut that off. Okay. I used to, before discovering floss tube, I used to flip my work over and run it under my stitches before starting. But I've now learned you don't have to do that. So here's what I've been doing. So this is where I'm going to start, right in this little area. I'll go a good not quite the full length of a needle. So I just go down anywhere in the vicinity. And if you remember from my earlier video, I always try my best to start in an open space and go down into the previous stitching. And I also go long ways across the back. Watch the other videos. So I need to fill in, let me zoom you in so you can see where I'm at here. Okay, I'm doing these 3 little squares. So I'm going to start with the top, work down. That's how I roll, just like diamond painting. I start at the top left and work my way down, cross into the right. However, because I want to go down into the other stitches, I'm going to start here and go this way. So I've got this end. I zoomed in way too far. Let me back out just a tiny bit. Okay. I'm just going to go to the point where it's right about there, so I can keep an eye on it. And down. Now I go over 2 threads. We've talked about that before. But because I'm going into another stitch, I should be able to figure it out by just putting it into the corner of the one before that. So let me turn it just a tiny bit. So there's, you see 2 squares here, 1, 2. I'm just going to go in here. And then I'm going to come up in the one next to it. Here's where I'm just going to put my finger on this to make sure I don't pull it out. There we go. And down. Sometimes I'll pull it all the way out the back. Sometimes I pull it from the front. Just kind of whatever. This particular symbol is only a half stitch, so I'm only doing the first diagonal. And if I would have had my sticker on my needle like I should have, I would have seen it's a half stitch. So this is what we're working on. Okay. And actually I needed this one over here too, so I could have started here and gone across, but I missed it because I don't have my pattern highlighted. I made a new copy for the back stitching portion of this evening's programming. Okay. Now I'll bring the, I'm not gonna, well, sure, I'll show you where I'm at on the pattern. 1 second. I got it all magneted in. And now I'm dropping stuff all over the place. Okay. Alright, let me just fold this a little. And then here's the needle minder. Just slide it into place to hold it there. See? It just back up a How cool is this? You just slide it right on and off. Don't even have to pull those magnets off the back. Okay. Zoom back in here. I'll try and show you where I'm at. Grab my highlighter. It's usually not this difficult, but I'm like all sandwiched in here between the light and the camera and the tripod and all that. Green. Alright, so I just did those three and that one. I'm going to show you where on here this is. So that was those. Okay, so you can see now I have these two, and then down here, there and there. Fill that in. Now I've put enough stitches in that I don't need to worry that I'm going to pull this thing out anymore, but I still leave it there so that while I'm cross stitching, I'll cover up that tail, and when I get close to stitching over this, I'll just snip it off close to the fabric and kind of grab a needle and just kind of pull it out the other side. Let's see if I can put that where you can see it. Okay. Now, one thing you can do to try and keep your stitches to lay flat. See, it's got stuck on my tag because I don't normally leave that sitting there. I just did that for your benefit. I'm going to get rid of it. Because just the natural way that when you cross stitch, kind of like a phone cord, it gets wound and wound and wound and wound because you're up and down and up and down, and it's like twisting it around and around. Every so often, you can pull your thread through the backside and kind of let it dangle like you would a phone, where you grab the cord and let the headset unwind. You can do that with your needle too. And that will help kind of keep it from getting all twisted around, that you don't get flat stitches. Oops, see, and that's why I don't like, I always pull the needle off. Plus I'm not paying attention because I'm filming. All right. Many ways to do this. There we go. See, and this is from an earlier one. Let's see where that goes to. Yeah, I think it goes all the way up there. I'm going to leave it for just a little. No, I'll cut a little off. I don't like it once it starts getting in my way. So I will just snip this off. Okay. Just kind of and there's just the tiniest little bit there. You can usually just grab your fingernail and scratch it right through the backside. Okay, so that was these two, these three, skip 2, and there's another one over there, but I already did that one when I went up the side. So now I'm on to the next row. You can highlight as often as you need to, or if you're using one of those PDF readers, I like the old-fashioned method because then I get the color. Okay, 3 more in the next row with 1 offset by 1. Now, if this was way the heck over here, you know, I wouldn't want to carry my stitch that far. So what I would do in that case then would be to come, I would actually start here and go down. I don't like to do that if I can avoid it. I like to always go into my stitches. And normally I use my right hand for everything, but the camera's there, so that's why you'll see my left hand coming up. But I do sew two-handed. See, because the camera's right where I would normally go up to, so I'm kind of trying to go around the camera. There we go. All right. And then 2. And then, so I don't get lost, those were already finished. And then this is this one, and that one, and that. So I've got a little bit right down here to do. All right. Yeah, these are sitting in my way, and I can see what they are by following it down to it's a 7. Okay. So I can look and see if I need to do any 7s in that area. Now this is all filled in. I'm gonna zoom out just a tiny bit. There we go. So this is filled in already. I just have a fresh copy, so that's already done. My next 7s aren't until down here, and I brought it out here. And I'm going down here. So my 7 is actually above here. It's going to be over here. So I can park my H now and work on the 7s because it's higher up. So with that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my H, if I can find it easily, I'll put it where it's going to go. So it's going to go right next to, see where this nub sticks out? That's right here. So I'm going to put it where it's going to end up. And my little tag. And I will just push it off in some direction that it's out of my way. And I stick it in my fabric. And I kind of just stick this sticker to the Q snap. Okay. All right, now we can do these 7s. So with that, I get rid of my tag. And I just, if it's still sticky enough, oop, oh my god, roller coaster, okay. I just stick it on the wood. If it's lost its stickiness, then I put them like down here where it's flat. But as long as it sticks, we're good. Okay, sorry, motion sick, okay. But hey, that's what my channel's all about, right? It's good time. No, this is kind of in my way, so I'm gonna go that direction. And this one, I need to get this out of my way so I can actually just go this way with it. Because you can park them in the middle. I just tend to put them off to the side. Okay. And then I'm gonna put this one over here. There we go. Now they're out of my way. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Here we go. Here's my 7. Okay. So, here's that H. Okay. And the 7 is up 1, 2, and over 1 from there. So I need to back out of this hole because it's not where it goes. And then I'm going to find where it actually does go. So from, let's count from this one because it's actually in there. It's diagonal 2 over. So diagonals are hard to count when you're going over 2. So I always go up 2 over 2. It's much easier. So this one, okay, so up 1 is the blank spot, up 2 is here, and then over 2. 1, 2. So it belongs right here. Okay, so keep an eye on that. All right. And I'm doing 3 of them. Okay, so again, I want to come up in the empty fabric and down into it. So if this is my first one, 1, 2, 3, I actually want to start in the bottom. Find the right spot. Right here. The bottom left corner. Move this so you can see. We're doing these 3 7s. So I'm going to start here. Down. There we go. And then I do the second half of the X going the other way. Trying to do this so I'm not putting my hands in your way. So yeah, this is a little more clumsy than it would normally be for me. There. That's those 3. Now I've got these 3. So same thing. I'm gonna start, I pulled that a little tight. Fix that. There we go. So I want to skip 2 spots. So I've got 1, 2. I need a pointer. There we go. Let me use this. Okay. So I'm going to skip 2, down 1. So for this is this. So that's 1, 2, down 1. This is much easier when you're not going over 2 threads. So Ada is good for beginners. You don't have to be so careful. And I have my needle. Remember I said I like the blunt tip? This one's sharp. I don't have new needles. I've got what I've got, and a lot of them are sharp. I looked at them when I was at Michael's. Thought about buying new ones, but I just can't bring myself to do it. So, oh well. That one doesn't look right. Yep, see, I screwed that one up. I messed it up. Okay. Here's a teaching opportunity. Okay. Get right in there. All right. So, I could tell it looked a little wonky when I put it in. This one looks weird to me. And it looks weird because here is the row for that corner, and I went 1 thread over too far. So now I gotta back out. And this is one where I doubled it over, so I can't pull my needle off and just, you know, pull the thread out. I could, but then I'd have to cut it, and yeah. So what I would do is I will take the eye end and put it back down in the hole, if I can. And then I'll grab another needle and just grab the last stitch. And hopefully be able to get it back up through there. There we go. If you can't, if it just ends up being a mess, then you cut it. Take the needle off and just pull the threads out one at a time to get back to where your mistake was. So here's my mistake. I went in the wrong spot. So I gotta back that out. So yes, this is the danger of putting your floss on your needles the way that I do, because if you make a mistake, it's a pain. But I have less issues with this than I do with pulling my needle off my floss all the time. All right, where is it? Right there. And this one doesn't matter because that's where the mistake is, so I can just go straight down. Okay. So here, can you see that's the big hole that I came up right there? It's 1 row off. It was supposed to be. Now that looks weird. Why does that look like that? Tuck that in and make it pretty again. There we go. It was supposed to be right there. So I came up 1 spot further over than I was supposed to. Yeah, I find it a lot harder when I've got a sharp needle. Okay. Back out a little bit more. Okay. Alright, I'm going to use a different color so you can see what I'm doing here. So that was these 7s and these 7s. And I've got another one here. And then I'm going to move over here. A little bit more. Just a little. Oh, jeez. Hang on, guys. Okay, there we go. So much better. Okay. And I'm going over here. Now, I just happen to know that the H has the two colors. It's, you know, our 1960s, the Harvest Gold and the Avocado Green. And I can see it right here. So I can start counting from there. Is easier than counting all the way across and down. So I just need to go 2 down from that H that's sticking out right there. So again, this parked one, I'm just going to go in a different direction with it. Okay, so that's this. Now, why does that not look right? Because according to that, I should have that over there. Unless... Oh, hang on. What's going on here? Oh yeah, I screwed that all up, didn't I? I sure did. I put this whole thing in the wrong spot. How did I do that? I have no idea how I did that. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know where I counted from. How did I do? Oh, I see what I did. Because I went diagonal 2 from there. Yep. See, okay. These are the dangers. Okay, so see this one's sticking out here, and this one's sticking out here. I saw this and said diagonal 2 up. But on my actual canvas, this is not that. This is this. I put it in a completely wrong spot. I was supposed to go up from here. See, I've got this diagonal and then 4 down and over. And 4 spot. So I am not going to back all that out. I'm going to cut it off and pull it out that way. So I'm just going to snip this off. And because this is sharp, I don't like the sharp. Sometimes if you use the eye end, pull it out, then you're less likely to wreck your threads. Or find one that's not sharp. Do I have one that's not sharp? This one's not sharp. There we go. That one's not sharp. Okay. Pull it out. So see, even though I've been doing this for like 20 years, 30, 25 years, we still make mistakes, especially when you're talking. I believe they call this frogging. Or is frogging when you actually have to cut it out? I don't know. I had never heard that term before I started watching FlossTube. Never heard it before. Alright. Okay. Rethread. And it belonged down here. Now down here, I gotta count a bunch of stuff, so I don't want to do that. So this has been another Trainwreck tutorial. Okay. That was fun. Okay, kids. Well, what did we learn today? We learned how to read a chart, how to count wrong, how to back stitches out, and how to completely tear out an entire section that you did. The lesson here, double check your work. Like don't go too far with something just assuming it's right. Cross-reference with other colors around it before you go terribly far so you're not backing out a whole bunch of stuff. So I think that's enough for tonight. We're still not getting to the back stitching. So I think I might back stitch without you guys, and I'll show that to you another time, because there's more I want to show you with regular stitching, but this is long enough, because I learned about railroading your stitches. I had never heard of that, but I learned that. I want to share it with you, because like I said, one of my methods, and that was just a half stitch, so I couldn't show you railroading. You know how I said if it starts getting twisted, let your needle dangle, unwind like a phone cord? Well, when you're doing the actual cross stitch with the X, there's a method, another method. It's a little cumbersome, but it does make your stitches lay nice and flat. But, okay. So, till next time. Next time maybe we'll do, instead of just half stitches and tearing out, we'll do full stitches. We'll get to back stitching eventually. That's the last thing you do. But as far as back stitching, that's what these lines are. You finish a section and then you do the back stitching, or some people will do the entire project and then do all the back stitching, but I like to break it up and just do little sections at a time. So that was the idea tonight, was to back stitch these flowers. But again, I'm only showing a piece of the pattern. Yeah, there's plenty to do. I'll show you guys another time. I'm going to get started on this. But yeah, I don't know if that was at all helpful. It helps you be cautious. I can't even tell you how many times I had to tear out these beiges because it was just so much. And I made so many mistakes over and over again. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Okay. Till next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye, guys.
So in the end, we didn't accomplish anything. No, not a single stitch gained on that one, but maybe some knowledge. How to correct your mistakes, because Lord knows she makes enough of them. Yeah. Okay. Next time, hopefully we'll get somewhere.